that recalls the events of the previous day, a sequence of unreal images unfolding against his eyelids. He levers himself out of bed, pulling thermals on with fast, practiced movements before drawing back the curtains. He winces at the glare. Never thought he would miss the mud, the gleaming slickness of it. The slap and suck at the turning of the tide, its rich bird shit stink after a hot day, and a couple of pints at the Rose as the sun tickled the clouds pink. The green, blue, yellow hues that marked the changes in the light as the days and seasons marched over the village and the river. And now, just snow. Endless snow. There was a seal once, before. He had spotted them in the river in the past, but this one was parked up on the mud, right in front of the pub. People were throwing it chips, which carved short furrows in the sludge. The seal left them where they lay, arched its back, nose in the air, not interested. After a couple of minutes, it slipped down the bank back into the river and was gone. Joe? He lets fall the curtain and the gloom resettles. Warmth of the bed, smell of Rachel's breath. Go back to sleep, sun is only half up. As he pulls on one of his boots, his strength drains. He sees it leave him in the moisture of his breath, which whitens the air. Rachel sighs as she turns in her sleep. Before yesterday, he'd been coming around to the idea that the snow was a good thing. It had thrown them on their own resources. When those who had left, gone off to the city years before for work or university, came back down the train track, arriving with the rest of the sorry lot down from London's, dressed in their fancy down jackets, hungry and cold, he'd felt vindicated. Maybe Patrick had always had it in him. A latent violence. He slips his hand under the covers to find the warm curve of Rachel's backside before coming to rest on her hip. For a second he considers taking his clothes off again and getting back in with her, but he knows he would regret it later, missing the moments of crisp silence out in the solitude and the biting cold. A well to draw on when the rest of the day comes with its demands. So he pulls on his other boot and trudges down the stairs. In the kitchen he opens and closes cupboards, though he knows what he will find. He has a notion that a fresh orange might have materialised miraculously in the night. An orange plump with sunshine that would leave its sharp scent on his fingers as he goes about his day. The half-tracks will be arriving this afternoon. Hunched over the counter, he luxuriates in a moment of self-pity. He presses a couple of oatcakes into his pocket and gasps as he lets himself out into the cold.
Helen. When Helen hears the front door close, she gives up on the pretense of sleep. The idea of packing while her son was still in the house, banging around in the empty cupboards downstairs, had felt like too much of a betrayal. Now that Joe has gone and she is free to get up, she feels entirely spent. She swings her legs over the side of the bed and rocks back and forth onto her heels. Helen has learned not to trust her body these past months. Like the ground beneath her feet has developed a tendency to lurch and roil. Last night, Bill had told her that he was leaving with Patrick boldly, bracing for a fight. There was no question of whether Patrick could stay, and Bill couldn't let him go alone. Patrick wouldn't make it onto the boat unless he could pretend to be a carer for his dad. Still no evacuation order for the able-bodied. Bill couldn't conceal his surprise when she said she was coming along too. She looks over at him now, his lips slightly pouted in sleep, and wonders whether he was disappointed, whether in his calculation of the future he had already accounted for losing her. If there's one thing she knows about him, it's that he doesn't like a change of plan. He can be spontaneous, but only under controlled conditions. She thinks, for some reason, but the first time she met Bill, watching as he pursued a naked 5-year-old Ian around her back garden,